Now, select and edit text. So let's start off with selecting a block of text. Now, what you can do is you can select the text by clicking and dragging across the text you want to select, as I am here on screen, or click at the beginning of a text block, for example, and then hold down the Shift key and click at the end of the text selection that you want to do, and that will select your text. Now I've shown it for a paragraph, but if we hold Shift here whilst my cursor's in the middle of the word sidebar and go to say the word produced, you can see it selected from sidebar up to where I ended it, which was on produced, and I'll just move it across to the end of the word. Did you know you can also select a sentence pretty quickly and easily in Word? All you need to do for this one is to press the Control key and then select a sentence of your choice. So I'm just going to hold Control and then select here, unselect it, then scroll to another sentence. So let's say I want to click on the one with the word you in, hold Control and then click it, and as you see it selects the whole sentence for you. You can select a line of text with ease. All you have to do is click in the left-hand margin and it will select an entire line for you. If you need to select a whole paragraph, you can double-click in the left-hand margin and it will select the whole paragraph for you. If you want to select everything that's in your document, you could use the shortcut Control A, but a slightly less known way you can select everything is by going to the Home tab in your ribbon, and then under Replace and Find, you will see something called Select. If you click on that, you can then click Select All, which will select everything within your Word document. If you need to edit some text, just select the text you want to edit or replace, and say we want to replace the word Word with Excel, for example. You select the word, and then you just type away to replace whatever you needed to change. If you want to cut, copy, and paste text, select what you want to cut, copy, or paste, and then go to Cut, Copy, or Paste under the clipboard area of the home part of your ribbon. And then either cut the text, paste it, or paste it with a different format, paste it as an image. That is just a selection of the things you can do. Let's say you accidentally pasted in an image of your text that you had selected previously. You can undo that by either doing Control Z or using the undo in your quick access toolbar in the top left of Word. Once you select that, it will undo the action. But if ever you need to redo or repeat an action, you can then click on the redo, which is right next to it in the top left, which is where you'll find your quick access toolbar. You can also check spelling and grammar errors. So potential spelling errors are underlined in red, such as here. If you want to correct it, you can right click it and you can select any correction. So say we want. And additionally, as you can see in the prompt that's popped up on screen, you can also left click for writing suggestions. And in blue, you'll find potential grammar errors. So let's try the left click. And as you see, we get this little loading box telling us to be more concise and giving us a suggestion. And I'm happy with that suggestion, so I'll use it to replace it. You can also ignore spelling or grammatical errors. Now, as you can see on screen, I have color or color as a sentence. One has color written in British English and the other has it written in American English. And the American English one has been flagged up, so we can assume here that the document is defaulted to English in the United Kingdom. If you want to ignore a suggestion, you can either left click on it and click the ignore all icon in the bottom left, or what you can do is you can right click on it and click ignore all in the spelling part of the right click menu. Additionally, in the right click menu or the left click menu, you can also view items such as context and synonyms. Now on the left click menu it's turned off by default, but you can switch these on by going to the more options button. You can either just ignore this version of or this iteration of the word or misspelling. You can ask it to show context, so color or color. You can also get it to show synonyms. And as you see, it's readjusted itself on screen as it's a little too big to compare to what it used to be. And you can also turn these off as well. You can also add the term to the dictionary, but in this case, we're just going to ignore it. And I've just ignored this specific one. And as you see, the red underline has now disappeared. You can also check your spelling and grammar across the whole document by either clicking F7 or using Editor in the top right hand corner. If you click on Editor and give it a while, it will evaluate your whole document and tell you whether there's any spelling or grammatical errors. And as you see, our document has a 99% score and there's one grammatical error. Now, if we go back up to it, you see it's picked up the two spaces between the word text and box. I want it to join them back together and just put a normal one space. So I've selected that, and as you see now, grammar has a nice tick next to it. If you ever want to find out how many words you have written within your Word document, you can check on the bottom bar next to the page number, and you can see the number of words. If you don't have this turned on by default, you can right click on the bar and select word count from your customized status bar, and when you have that tick next to it, it will be visible. You can also access it via the review menu in your ribbon. So if you go to review and you go to word count in your proofing section, you can see how many words you have written, as well as how many pages, characters, paragraphs, and lines. You can also get the definition and look for synonyms for words in your document. So here we have the word professionally, and as you see, we've got this hover bar popped up. We can get the definition of the word professionally by clicking on define professionally. And on the right hand side, a search pane has opened up, which will be searching for the word professionally. And as you see on the right hand side, we now have a definition of the word, and that it is an adverb with also examples of it being used in sentences per definition. Now, if I close that right pane, you can also get a synonym for it. Now, you can do it through the review part of your ribbon and click on thesaurus. And as you see, you'll get all the possible synonyms for the word professionally. But generally, if you right click on it and go to synonyms, you'll get a subset of the generally used synonyms first. And if there isn't a synonym to your liking there, then you can click thesaurus, which will open up that pane on the right hand side, and you can choose a better word to fit it. Now, let's say we want to replace a word from one in our thesaurus. Let's say I want to exchange professionally for competently. You can then just click on the little drop down next to the word and then click insert, and it will replace the word for you in your Word document. You can also find text and replace it in Word as well. In older versions of Word, you used to have a window pop up where you would input the word and click find. In modern versions of Microsoft Word and Microsoft Office, if you hit Control F, you'll get a navigation pane open on the left hand side. If you click find in your home ribbon, you also get the same pane open up. As soon as you start typing for words, it will start refining the search, and as you see, there's 239 results at the moment. So I'm just going to keep typing, and as you see, it starts narrowing down my word to the possible answers and possible identifications of it within my document. Now, as you see, it's found the word competently, and it's also provided context on where it is, which is useful if you know roughly what's before or after as well, because we usually just don't remember a word. Sometimes when we're searching for something, we know the rough context. So if we're searching for something in a contract that was written in Word, we'll probably know the context around it, which is where this is very useful. Now, I also mentioned you can replace text. You can click on the replace, which will bring up that old window to find and replace, and you also find the old find part of that window. Now, if we go to replace, we're going to want to replace the word competently, and we're going to replace it with professionally. And once you're happy with what you want to exchange, then click replace or replace all. And as you see, it's made one replacement because there was only ever one iteration of it. And that change has been made. And as you see, the word professionally is now back in the document in that space. Now you can also insert symbols into Word. Now this is very useful if you need to insert characters which aren't available on your keyboard as well, but in other languages too. Now the way you can get to this is by going to insert and then going to symbol all the way on the far right hand side. Once you click it, you'll get a handful of generally used symbols. If the one you're looking for isn't there, you can click more symbols and you'll get this window pop up called symbol. Now you can then scroll through, and if you can't find the exact character you're looking for at the moment, you can also refine it by the subset. So say we're looking for something in Latin. So I'm just going to go with Latin supplement 1, for example, and then I'm just going to click down on the bar to navigate, and let's say we wanted to find, let's say, an O with a little hook. Once you found it, you can then click it and click insert, and then once you click close, you see that symbol has been added. Now this is also good if you want to add a copyright into either a heading or footer as well. So let's double click into the header of the document. Let's head back to the insert part of the ribbon, and we're going to go to symbol. Now any new symbols that you do pull from the more symbols and the symbol window will start appearing within your frequently used. But the defaults will also be there and eventually will roll off the more that you use it. And let's say we wanted to add that copyright, and now we have that copyright C. And then I'm just going to put for the fun of it. You can also insert equations. So I'm just going to create a gap here. You can also insert equations for maths. So if you need to make a maths paper for school or anything in terms of exams or chemistry or science related and it needs an equation, you can do that in Word too. So if you go to equation, you will get a bunch of default ones such as formulas that will be useful especially for GCSEs and potentially A-level exams as well. But say the equation you want isn't here, you can go to insert new equation or inc equation. If you click insert new equation, this is something you can type. So I'm just going to do 2x plus 4 equals 5 as an example. Now if you hit end or the right cursor key to move out of that, you can then type back in your normal font. You can also inc an equation, so if we go back into that and I click inc equation, you also get this math input control window. Now this is really good if, for example, what you was looking for was not available in the equations window originally. So I'm just going to do a big sigma, and I'm just going to insert that for the moment. And then you will also get this equation part of your ribbon open up, where you can add various other symbols and icons as well in. So say you need to do plus or minus, you can also add that in as well. It is also very, very smart. As you see, I'm on this new page. And the last thing I'm going to show you in this part is inserting text from another file. So the way you can do this is by going to, you guessed it, insert in the ribbon, and then we're going to go to object. Now we're just going to click on the drop down and we're going to click text from file. So as you see, I have my File Explorer window showing me to insert a file. Now you can choose a Word document to insert, but I'm just going to select all files, and I want this text from file from a text document, for example. Now I'm just going to double click that, and we're going to wait for it to import. And here you go, it's imported the text within the file, which says select and edit text. Is so cool. You can also do it for Word documents as well. I'm just going to click on the saved, and as you see, it's added in some lorem ipsum that was in that saved Word document.